Still Mills, what's the deal, man? Peep game, man. Oh, I'm beat, man. Work fucked me up today. I'm tired as hell, man. But yeah, peep game, man. I just caught wind of the motherfucking Caleb Plant versus Canelo Alvarez fight being dead, flatline, rest in peace, man. What the fuck is going on with that fight, man? Like, what are their intentions with Caleb Plant? Because it's like they're not even really trying to build this motherfucker. They're not even trying to build him to the point where they will want to hold on to him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he hasn't had a meaningful fight since becoming a champion. He has yet to have a meaningful fight. David Benavidez has had meaningful fights. He just got his belt stripped away from him. It's like they're trying to build they're trying to build David Benavidez into be one of the reputables on the PBC island, but they ain't doing shit with Caleb Plant. It's like they don't give a fuck who he fights. They're spoon feeding him and spoon feeding him and spoon feeding him, but when it's all of a sudden time for him to have a meaningful fight and a shot at legacy, and he just so happens to have the skill set that contradicts Canelo historically, why wouldn't y'all want that fight? I'm not understanding that, man. Like, is it to my knowledge, he was like, yo, just give me 10 M's. Canelo obliged him. I don't, of course this is all new, it's all new news. It's just now coming out, everything that's going on. But what else could it be? I know they're, real hell-bent on trying to block Canelo into a 3-fight deal or whatever for 100 M's or whatever, which doesn't seem like a bad idea, honestly, man, but he has options. He has options. As the face of the sport, if you don't want, you're promotional, you're a free agent, and you want to keep it like that, then you should kind of play by his rules. Now, granted, you do have a fighter that, you know what I'm saying, he needs in order to complete the final piece to his puzzle, but look at how because you want to be greedy and you want, allegedly that it's the PBC and, Team PBC as opposed to Team Caleb Plant, you're fucking him out of a legacy fight, out of a payday. You fucking playing with his pocket. You fucking playing with his legacy if this is really what he wants. All because y'all don't want to let go of that title. Y'all have Jermell Charlo, y'all have Manny Pacquiao, y'all have a unified champion in Earl Spence, y'all have, well, not Manny Pacquiao, but Ugas, since they didn't reinstate Manny Pacquiao. Y'all have a multitude of champions in your stable. Y'all have a multitude of champions. And it's like y'all aren't even putting the necessary work into Caleb Plant to make him a household name. Y'all feed him, y'all throw him anybody. Y'all throw him anybody. And y'all actually have a really solid lineup of super middleweights. But y'all gonna give him Subway Mike and Vincent and any and everybody else. Like, these cats can't be his mandatory. You gave him Caleb Truax, who for some reason was his mandatory. Whatever, can't be mad at that if, Avni was Canelo's mandatory. He satisfied his mandatory. You can be mad that how are they mandatories? Nonetheless, you can't complain too much about Caleb Truax if you can't. Caleb Truax I think he's a more formidable foe than Avni Yerger. So I can't beef too much about that. Nonetheless, y'all are not putting any sort of effort into making Caleb any sort of household name. So why is it that belt is that much of importance to y'all, to the point where y'all would derail Undisputed? It just doesn't make sense. It makes no sense. Honestly, as skilled as Caleb Plant is, don't nobody give a fuck about Caleb Plant. Because y'all make it that way, because y'all don't put into him. Y'all don't pour into him the way y'all pour into Jermell Charlo or Jermell Charlo. Y'all don't pour into him the way y'all pour into David Benavidez. Y'all don't pour into him the way y'all pour into Tank. Y'all don't pour into him into the way y'all pour into Earl Spence. Y'all don't. But now all of a sudden it's time to, forget to get undisputed out there and going on. Now all of a sudden it's all these obstacles that we got to go through. Why? Why? To hold on to a belt that y'all clearly don't give a fuck that he got? Because shit. Y'all wouldn't unify with him and David Benavidez. We've been calling for that fight for years. David Benavidez to go off and fight a Jalen Love and a Andre Durrell. Good names. What are y'all doing with Caleb Plant? Like, why do y'all do this shit? Why is it now it's okay to, let's... No, let's think about this. Why? There's nothing to think about. Or on the flip side, if it is Caleb Plant, then you a fool. You said it before. Yeah, I've gotten $1 million purses before. Okay, cool. Million, as in 1 million. And it couldn't have been more than 1 million one time. There's no way. I refuse to believe that you got multiple $1 million purses for the fights that you get. There's no way. Maybe 2, possibly. But at this point, you asked for 10 M's, bro. Like, and Canelo was willing to give you that. His team, all right, cool, give him 10 M's. We ain't tripping off that. I stay out of the people, I stay out of people's pockets. You dig? I do. But it is a time and place when it needs to be spoken on. And this is one of them times. If you, in fact, are trying to be overly greedy. You said in a motherfucking interview, man, I don't need an entire training. Like, I don't need entire training camps, and you fresh off a fight. Like, we can, I don't need an entire training camp. And then when they ask you to fight, so what's up with Canelo? Oh, it's too soon. Too soon for what exactly? If you don't need an entire training camp for a fight. I know I can beat Canelo. Well, why aren't you fighting him? You've said it before. This is what you wanted as a kid. This is all you ever dreamed of. Be your undisputed world champion. You said this. You've said this. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. And even if he doesn't get this Caleb Plant fight, he's already looking to move up and fight to the head honchos at light heavyweight. So he's consistently testing himself and putting in, jumping in the deep end. Bro, you haven't fought since January? He's had 2 fights since you fought, and you think because you have the skill to beat him that you're going to be. You have not tested your skill against the highest possible opposition in your division. You have not. And you think it's plausible to just sit on your hands until you get this fight, man? Like, you are playing yourself. Because the advantage that you have over him, it's not like an array of skill that you have over him. You just simply have the better feet. You're more mobile than he is. That's it. You don't counterpunch better. You're not better defensively. You don't have the better ring generalship. You don't have the better ring IQ. You don't. You gas faster. You damn sure ain't got the punching power. You have the better feet, and because you have an array of skill to complement your feet, you're a threat to the dude to beat him on points. So I'm just saying, man, like, what exactly what the fuck? Like, what do you if you can beat him, you don't need an entire training camp in order to fight him, then go fight him. Don't play yourself. You gonna let these motherfuckers play you out of a payday, my nigga. You not making 10 M's in one fight ever. At this point, the way they moving you along in your career, that won't happen again. If you lose to a Canelo Alvarez, Who else is there for you to fight that could generate this bit of, I mean, you and David Benavidez could have possibly been a super fight, a pay-per-view fight, but they're not pouring into you. They're building David Benavidez and they don't give a fuck about you. You just want, all right, cool. You just happen to be a champion. All right, cool. You know, give him Mike Lee, give him Vincent Feigenboots, give him them dudes. Like, come on, man. This shit is just getting ridiculous, man. How just fights can't. Why is it just politics? These motherfucking promoters, bro. This shit is bullshit. This shit is bullshit. You're not gonna get. It's certain perks you're not gonna be able to even recommend over a Canelo Alvarez. You just Billy Joe Saunders was able to get away with certain shit. Billy Joe Saunders is a higher profile fighter than you. He's a higher profile fighter. He has a far better resume than you. So certain perks, whatever you can give him that. And it wasn't something like it was drag, except like that 24-foot ring. That shit was kind of drag, especially when you've never fought in a 24-foot ring. Nonetheless, all right, cool. I'll give him a 22. All right, cool. You can have that. You, on the other hand, have done absolutely nothing since becoming a champion. Nothing. Nothing. You could at least could at least seen you with Jay Leon Love. We could have at least seen you with one of the Darrell brothers. We could have at least seen that. You fought Jose Uzcategui and got super complacent. Super complacent. You've had about three or four fights since Jose Uzcategui, and you've done nothing. You have done nothing, bro. And you would allow these niggas to fuck up Yo Cho and a possibility at cracking the pound for pound list and becoming undisputed. Bro, you need to get off PBC Island, bro. Like, man, you try to be supportive of the brothers, man. How they doing, the brothers over there? You know, they looking out and everything, man. But it's just certain shit that is just like, man, this shit is corny. This shit is corny. In-house fights are cool, but if it's a bigger fight on the horizon, go for it. Everything cannot be about money. I'm sorry, it cannot be. You're in a business that is understandable. You're in a business that's understandable. Y'all are in a business. Business should not completely supersede everything, though. It just should not be the #1 priority. Restoring the integrity within that sport should be the #1 priority. If it's integrity in that sport, your business is going nowhere. It's integrity in the UFC. That's why it's flourishing. They're not getting paid as much as boxers. They're not. They're not. But we also got to remember the UFC is still it's still a baby. As far as it being a conglomerate that it is now, it didn't start getting its weight up to like 05, 09, 06, somewhere around there. It's still a baby. Boxing has been a big deal in America since in the world since the early 20th century, early 1900s. So due to the fact that, you know, the UFC, they make the fights that the people want to see in a timely manner, that generates wealth. They're consistently getting people to new eyes to that sport. People are leaving boxing to become diehard mixed martial arts fans. Commentators are leaving boxing in the dust to go and try a career in MMA as far as analysts and commentators go, because it's consistent excitement with the males, and they build around the females. Imagine where the UFC is going to be in the next decade or two. They're going to be booming. They're going to be booming. But because you niggas don't, everything is just about money with y'all. Y'all can't see past money. That's all it's about. Y'all gonna end up fucking yourselves. The sport of boxing is going to live on. As far as combat sports, that's numero uno. But goddamn if it ain't on life support. Because of this dumb shit you promoters do. This is getting ridiculous. It should not be a multitude of fucking promoters who are beefing with one another. It's not about you bitch ass niggas. It's about the fighters in your stables. If these top fighters had reputable fights, you don't think that's gonna add to their brand, and get them out of the mindset of being keeping their O? You don't think that's gonna add to their brand? This shit is, it's disgusting looking at a lot of you dudes, man. This shit is whack. This shit is whack. Caleb, you was a dude who was talking about how bad you can beat Canelo and you don't need an entire training camp to beat this nigga, but you on some extra shit, bro. Like well, let me be fair. If this is in fact you and your team, then this shit is not a good look, homie, at all. You looking sweet right now. You look sweet. You look sweet. You would let a $10 million payday pass you by and a motherfucking a shot at Undisputed and a shot at pound for pound. You would let all that pass you by for what? Exactly. If y'all are trying to use him as a final puzzle piece because y'all know y'all have leverage over him to see what he wants, that shit is whack. It's corny. Why is it that it has to be about what he, you know what I'm saying, what he wants and what he needs, as opposed to what you want and you need? You are just as equal. You need this as bad as he does, if not worse, because you don't have you. It's not every day a motherfucker land a shot at fighting Canelo. You have that shot, and you will fuck that off to be petty or to get a bigger bag out of the whole ordeal. Like, get the fuck out of here. You will fuck that off because you want to get the bag. You want a bigger payday. You will fuck that off because, you know, you can't have a, because you don't get a certain size ring. I don't know what it is, if it's even you. But you are also in control of your career. So you could dictate if you want to fight this man or not. Fuck all these contract obligations and everything, because at this point in time, you may as well leave the PBC and go over there motherfucking, you know, to the zone or something, because the top dogs over there that's in that stable, you ain't fighting them no way. There's no reason why you and David Benavidez shouldn't have been ran that. There's no reason whatsoever. This was supposed to be the year for Undisputed, man. We've had 2 Undisputed matches thus far. One, we have an Undisputed champion in Josh Taylor. Castano and Charlo was to a draw. Fury Joshua got derailed by the arbitration. We don't know what the fuck is happening with Spence and Bud. And now this is supposed to be the year Undisputed. Y'all letting the ladies show y'all up. Everybody is just so fixated on getting the biggest purse available. It's a big purse. If you a dude who's already talking about how you done got multi-million-dollar purses, then why wouldn't you jump at a $10 million purse? This shit is lunacy. A $10 million purse, shot at Undisputed, shot at pound for pound. Your resume automatically enhances if you fight a Canelo Alvarez, because you fought nobody else. You land the Canelo Alvarez sweepstakes and you do some goofy shit like this. Not a good look. At all. At all whatsoever. You will not be able to live this shit down if you allow this to happen. And at this point, you're not finna fight no David Benavidez. You're not finna fight no. You're not finna fight none of them dogs over there at 168 pounds on the PBC Island. So what are you gonna do? You gonna let this man dictate your motherfucking career? The PBC does dumb shit. They do. All of these networks and promotional companies do. But the thing is, with Canelo Alvarez, what Eddie Hearn is allowing to happen with Canelo Alvarez is, I'm going to do business with you, but I'm not going to try and lock you down as a matchroom fighter, because I know that's not what you want. So if I give you what you want, you're that much more prone to doing business with me. Which put more money in their pocket. That's what you're not understanding, man. Build a relationship. Why is that so hard to understand? Eddie Hearn is doing, he's like the only logical thinking promoter in the game right now. Even though he has fighters that he should be he has fighters in his stable that he should be putting up against one another. There's no reason why Demetrius Andrade should be having to beg for a Golovkin fight or anything of that nature. He should be making that shit happen. But what he's doing with Canelo Alvarez, when Canelo Alvarez being the cash cow of the sport, the face of the sport, I don't want to do anything to jeopardize our relationship business-wise. So I'll give you your wiggle room. And Canelo isn't coming off as a grimy type nigga. All right, cool. We gonna do business until I retire. At this point, nobody is about to dethrone Canelo as far as the face of the sport. So him and Eddie Hearn are gonna have at least another 5 years of good business together. Building relationships. You're trying to Debo this nigga into a contract, sucker him into a contract out of sight, like he didn't just get out of a contract. You can't even get your fighters certain fights. You couldn't even get a unification match between Benavidez and Caleb Plant, Al Heyman. But you want to lock him into a 3-fight deal, $100 million. $100 million. But he's going to make that with any fight he fights in 3 fights. He's going to make that. And even if he doesn't make that, it's simply, I have the wiggle room to do what the fuck I want to do. I'm the man in charge. I want room to operate. I don't want, no, as the face of the sport, I'm demanding my wiggle room. You're not about to lock me into a contract. I've done that. He had a bad outing with Oscar De La Hoya, and he's been promised a $100 million deal with the fucking with the DAZN app, and I don't know how that shit goes. I stay out of people's pockets, but he wants his wiggle room. Hold up. Oh, gotta send off a message. And another one. But you will be a fool to be, to try and go against that grain. You will be a fool to try and lock somebody in who, they have enough wiggle room to do what the fuck they want to do. Think about how much money he was gonna get off of that fight, man, if they was do a pay-per-view. He doesn't even want to fight on a pay-per-view. He prefers the DAZN app. All right, cool. I don't want everybody coming out of pocket to pay for me. Man, please, his numbers is, look at the amount of numbers that he does on everybody tripping off pay-per-view. And we're going to talk about that as well next in another video. What is she saying? Sorry, y'all. I had to send off a message. But that's just goofy. That's good. Let me send it off one more. Right? Sorry about this, y'all. But that's goofy. As a businessman, you should know sometimes it's better to build shit instead of to debo somebody and not extort or bribe and blackmail somebody into a fight. Jumping at an opportunity to do business with Canelo would have been the wise thing to do. Because now what happens when you want to fight David Benavidez? He does the thing, as mad as he wants to go undisputed, he doesn't want to be locked into a contract. And there's plenty of other options for him to go in the direction of. The Zone has a stable full of 168 pounders. Now he's talking about jumping up to fight Bivol and Beterbiev. And you think you're gonna hold Caleb Plant hostage, just dangle the the IBF belt over his head? Canelo, that is. You gonna dangle that shit over his head? Like, people just, I'm not business savvy, man. I'm not. I've said that before, man. But some shit you just gotta be like, that shit just don't add up. That shit just don't add up. It don't. Caleb, if this is you trying to be a little bit greedy in the negotiations and things of that nature, bro, you kind of letting it be known where you stand at. You looking like you're not as confident as you saying you are. You are. That's if it's you, in fact. If it isn't you, then you need to get the fuck away from the PBC. You do. You need to get as far away from them as possible, because they're not giving you proper they're not matching you up properly with reputable opponents, and with them not doing that, they're hindering your career. Oh shit, yeah, back up. They're hindering your career because they're expecting you to be loyal to them. Be loyal to them. They're using you as a pawn to hold that motherfucking belt over there on that motherfucking island. They're using you to hold that belt, and what are you gonna get out of it? If you, where are you going? What fight can generate you that sort of payday? What fight do they have in store for you if you decide to say, yo, I'm gonna stay loyal to the soil? Unless you like being spoon-fed bullshit and having a waste of a career. Because I think you're a talented fighter. I think you can. At a point in time, I thought you beat David Benavidez. This shit just can't continue to go on like this, man. Like, you gotta, as a fighter who puts himself in harm's way every time you step in between them ropes, you have a responsibility to yourself to say, you know what? What's the best decision for me and my family? What's the best decision for me? Can who is it? What position can I better put myself in so I can generate as much income as I possibly can? You have a shot at generating, maybe not generational wealth. It could be, depending on the fight that you give Canelo. You beat him, you draw with him. Oh yeah, you could demand a bigger purse after that. Now you have more eyes on you. Oh shit, this nigga, look at how he did Canelo. Canelo gave him trouble. You don't think Brian Castaño's motherfucking profile is kind of finna not necessarily skyrocket, but to the outsiders who don't know who Brian Castaño was, now it's like, Jermell Charlo lost that fight. Who is this Brian Castaño dude? I'm saying, man, you gotta start thinking for your goddamn self, man. Unless this is you all alone, then that just isn't a good look. So I don't know. I just at this point I'm rambling, dude, because I can't get over that somebody would jeopardize their future and their legacy for little penny ante shit. That's little penny ante bullshit. You would let them use you as a pawn. That shit doesn't offend you. You're only good. You have a belt, and even with that's a slap in the face, because even with your belt, they're not building around you and they're not putting you in with no logical, meaningful opposition. You're just a white boy with a belt, and they want to be petty. That's just, at this point, that's just how it looks. Because if they gave a fuck about you like that, they wouldn't put you in with the fighters that you've been fighting. If they had any eagerness to build you, they wouldn't be fight. They wouldn't let you fight. There's no way you could get away with fighting Subway Mike. You would have been crucified if you fought Subway Mike and they gave a fuck about you. If you was on niggas' radars like that. They don't give a fuck about you. And you gonna stay look. No. This ain't a good look. You looking bad right now. If it's your team, your immediate camp, your immediate management, y'all look whack. Y'all look corny as a motherfucker. If this is the PBC just wanting to play hardball and play tug of war with that last belt, you gonna play yourself out of a opportunity that everybody. Look at all the people salivating to get a Canelo Alvarez fight, begging. David Benavidez is doing the road work, saying I'm the ultimate goal was Canelo Alvarez. Jamal Charlo is begging for a Canelo Alvarez fight. Demetrius Andre, Triple G, all of these dudes are begging for a Canelo Alvarez fight. You get a golden ticket, and what you gonna do with it? It is what it is, man. Y'all gotta wake up, man. Restore integrity back into the sport, man. Peace.